There are two parts of me, and they're at war. One part of me is the part of me that wants to be safe. That came for protecting a little boy. It came from knowing that the moral foundation for a smelly old book of legends written by primitive savages 2,000 years ago is any sort of measure of anything. And yeah, there are nice wee clues in it, and nice wee stories, and like abstract kind of things that would have come with the emergence of the god belief, and then the need for unity of a people, of a race within a dangerous society, in a dangerous environment, surrounded by enemies. Yeah, I was reading about Kierkegaard. Søren Kierkegaard. I'm not sure, it sounds like Nordic or something. He mused on the Abraham and Isaac story. And the Abraham and Isaac story is an old one from the old book, from the good book. The good book. Yeah, it's an example of the good book. So God, a voice in a rich shepherd's head that he attributed to God, told him to take his wee boy, his child, up a mountain and sacrifice him to God. And the mad old bastard gets to the point of having the knife raised, levelled at a child, before God stays his hand, and God's like, I was just testing you. And yes, it's about the following faith, despite every moral thing in your body that you know to be true. It's about superseding every inherent protection that you have inside yourself, and following of an unfounded belief. And it's utterly appalling. Yeah, it's been fully explored. Like that's what bugged Kierkegaard about it as well, is their utter horror. And he left it sort of nuanced. Like, he believed in the need for faith, or he just explored it anyway, the need for faith, and he kind of faced the unpleasant narrative. And the unpleasant narrative is the one that emerged in my little head when I heard the story. Like, this is utterly fucking disgusting. Here's a smart guy who explored this subject fully, and acknowledges the horrors of what's in this story, and fights with it, and philosophizes it. They're just like, aye, faith's the best, faith, need for faith. And it's at the core of what makes us, because it's like what evolved. It's what evolved as we evolved. The bigger picture, the need for belief. I think we've evolved past it, and then like even Nietzsche said there'd be a mass return to belief in God as man loses its meaning. And as our societies get more fragmented, we get more isolated. We rely on the internet and this new digital living room for our social interactions. We only go outside to shop, to take our kids to school. Why do we take our kids to school for? Like surely the COVID thing was kind of an experiment in how kids can just be schooled at home, and we could just abandon. We can just abandon physical places altogether. Like, we're abandoning the pubs, we've abandoned the Masons, we've abandoned the social clubs. Like, we've got... So there's a thing at war in me. So being raised and then having to go within myself to protect myself. there's a real pressure to stay safe, to be unknown, to be anonymous. But on the other hand, I've got a strong sense of self, an ego, desire to do something bigger than myself. But at the same time, if the desire to do something and strive for that greater things means deception and lies, then I think the honest option is self-preservation. Like, often when I stick my head out, I seem to come across these awful wrongings, and maybe that's what I fixate on, because that's the danger, and we're danger fixators. Of course we're going to fixate on self-preservation, self-protection. But if somebody doesn't stand up to these absolute cretins, then they just run amok. So that's what I mean when I say I'm torn. There's two parts. So one part that can isolate, that really wants to, and then there's the other. And one of them's, can they both exist at the same time? I feel like one of them's no real, one of them's fake. I feel like there is a fearless me. There is one that's just a clod-footed dunderhead that can stomp about and be immune to things. I had a huge conflict growing up with my brother. Like, with cats and dogs, Tom and Jerry, whatever way you want to put it, man. It was tough. He was the Abel, I was the Cain. Ian even sounds like Cain, doesn't it? Cain. And Abel's like, yeah, I'm not going to say my brother's name, but his name means able to me. It means able. He is able. And then by default that makes me Cain, the other type. And that's like it's a fallacy of the black and white worldview, isn't it? And corrupting an innocent mind, telling them that these metaphors are the only truth, and nothing but the truth. It's the way it has been, the way it always will be. I guess when you can't fight against something that's obviously overtly wrong and stupid and evil, then you just have to escape. Yeah, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. Maybe I had a predisposition to being like this. My mother's, she's a dreamy, so I've got these two parts of me. There's a pattern of my past behaviour where life just passes me by and I hide and I'm safe. I poke my head out and bad things happen. Like with this bald idiot in the van. And the outcome of that is I admitted that maybe the guy that I gave the fingers to, and then he's like, yeah, it's too much of a non-incident, we can't do anything, we can't put the resources into this. He said the best thing, I've already done the best thing, and that was like ask the council why their drivers are like threatening guys on push bikes with children, and maybe they'll deal with it. My response was, these guys don't go away, you have to make them go away. He accepted that. He also said giving somebody the fingers, the way they see it, is like, it's just tit for tat. It's, yeah, you had the freedom to give them the fingers, but there's consequences. and this is the consequences. And then I pointed out that this isn't the equivalent. I'm in a vulnerable bike with a child. He's in a huge works van. And eyes of the law is equivalent. Like, even though I'm like vulnerable on a push bike on the school run, and he's in a works van. Yeah. So it's the incident's been logged. He reckons I've done the best thing for the situation, which was reported to the council. That's alright by me. These guys don't stop. I think he's gonna do it again. We'll see. Yeah, that's my strength, isn't it? I watch. I'm a watcher. I'm a waiter. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So I spoke in earlier videos about the type of justice that we get in Scotland, and this is it. This is it. You just gotta wait. You gotta wait until he does it again. Like, I've got the devil in me. You don't know. You don't know. The two parts of me are very strong. And talking about it gets it in a way. Throwing it out there. I'm not resigning myself to being unheard. Like the silent cry. Like they'll find me, the rotten smell coming out of the house one day, and then they'll come in and they'll find my ledgers. And they'll be like, fuck man, this guy. So just before any of that shit happens, I'm just gonna put my ledgers out there and say, aye, this guy's fucking nuts. No, I'm not afraid. I'm afraid of myself. And I can't say that I'm gonna make good decisions. Like, I don't run. Yeah, these guys that bark, they don't bite. I don't bark. I'm having a wee bark. I'm having a wee bark here. I think it's like, yeah, I had to suppress who I actually was. I had to fold in on myself to protect myself when I was young. And then when I put my head up, or I look at the state of the political situation in Scotland now, and all I see is lies, deception, Jew hate. And then you go on the roads and then you just have run-ins with like horrible, bombastic morons. You try and like rationalise it, and you try and apply sense, like my sense, to what happens to me, and I come up against a wall to understanding things, to challenging everything, to challenge everything. So I asked the girl yesterday, and she knocked me back, and it's something that I never do. I've never like approached a lassie and asked her out, and it was just totally out of the blue, man. I've seen her like 5 years, never looked the road she's on, and then like one Friday night I don't have the way and I'm horny, and I'm like, do you want to come up and see a movie at my bit? And I was just like some guy she doesn't ken. And she's seen me in there in all states, because I've got a past. God damn, I've got a past of substance abuse and being out of it. So she fucking probably knows me very well. And I'm dangerous. I'm a liability. I'm 6'2", and I'm all sorts of scary. Yeah, no, yeah, it's fine. Like, I expose myself in a way that I couldn't control. I always wait on women talking to me, or it's a kind of mutual thing on the Tinder or whatever. But this was different. This was me just like throwing myself there in front of somebody that doesn't know me, And yeah, I'm not surprised at all that she said no. But she let me down nice, man, and that means that she's a good girl and she's a clever girl. And then I went on the chats. I went on Friday Night Tights, and then they're talking, and there's like lots of like brutal honesty and slagging off like arrogant Hollywood women film stars and stupid women, and I'm like saying all sorts of stupid shit. Yeah, I went on with a major hump and got my butt spanked by a mod. And I apologise. I'm like, look, I get knocked back of the day, mate. I'm sorry. I'll only laugh out loud, type lol at the prescribed moments. Yeah, and so I did. Yeah. Yes, so that was big for me, and it made me think about. In the previous video, I talked about how when I was like 13, I got asked it by like an older lassie who was like 16, man, and I've got the brain of like an 8-year-old because of the way I am. So it felt like a sexual assault. I mean, and to me, I'm like, hell no, like, you're scary. She's trying to bump me. Like, that's fine. And I feel that I made this poor lassie feel the same. And at her work as well, where she can't escape. And I said, I'm sorry, sorry, say do this at your work, man. And it doesn't strike me as very fair, but I did ask as gently and as reasonably. I did kind of spaz it. I did spaz it out. Like, I didn't ever talk to her casually and get to know her or anything. But yeah. She went really red, and it was really cute. And she's really dark skinned as well, which is just even more cute. Yeah, she's a clever girl. You don't want to be very careful with me. Yeah, she knows fear. She knows caution. But healthy fear and healthy, like conscientious caution. And I respect that. Well, you guys have got to take it in the chin. Yeah, I'm not going to crawl. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to shut myself off. I'm not going to stop taking chances, because for all it was a gut punch. It was new. It was exciting, and it solved the mystery of a person. It solved her mystery. Like, now I know where I stand. Now I can stop like catching her eye and like giggling at her and going all wibbly. I know I can do that. And that's great. It's just part of what comes with having my mind and my body married back together, is that I can act on things. Though I'll tell you what the old me would do. The old me would see her for years, would live in a fantasy world in his head where I do ask her out and she says yes, or I'd live in a fantasy world where I ask her out and she says no, and she stamps on my balls and phones she pepper sprays me and kicks me in the balls, or laughs in my face and calls me hack it. Like, they're things that didn't happen for going women, but I know full well why she said no. I'm dangerous. I'm a risk. I'm old. I've got baggage. Consequences, motherfucker. Consequences of behaviour and decisions that I don't believe are ever truly decisions. Not in the way that we like to imagine, anyway. But yeah, like when the screaming van driver screamed, and I did my manoeuvre, and on an impulse I just flashed him the fingers. It's consequences, motherfucker. I don't know. thought I'd just come on here and have a wee yap. Have a great windy, rainy day. Again. Ugh.